obviously this race has a problem with its natives.
Sound like history repeats itself because this goes back all the way to the 700s.
Correct. Correct.
Can we
So
Exactly.
Hey yo,
can
let R
can
Jelly
we
go.
let RJ?
Is it R Jelly or R Geely? I'm
There's
confused.
Audrey.
Let him go. Oh, go ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead.
I guess there are people who are on the same size as I am, so I thought it was just going to be me. Yeah. Would I call it weak? I can tell, again, for me, I wouldn't date out of my race because I know the history. I think someone said it clearly. And also, I understand the mindset of white of Europeanness, because I cannot say whiteness because that's not who they are. They don't have a color that is white. Um, I wouldn't date out of my race, not even Asian people. There's a mindset that people carry and that people don't understand. Yeah, love happens, right? I guess people say, oh, I guess, you don't help you fall in love with, but however way you look is a choice, right? You can never fall in love with somebody who can who truly cannot understand you. They cannot understand your struggle. They might say I'm listening, but understanding is to be able to have the ability to empathize, to walk in your shoes. If somebody cannot do that, they can never deeply understand. They can never deeply understand you, therefore they can never, never, ever love you. So why would I want to do that? Also, the damage in which it's going to cause their coming generations. Many people are having biracial children without even thinking of the consequences in which these children are. I mean, TikTok is a really great platform in which these biracial kids are now inventing to the destruction in which, especially children who are born from white mother to black fathers, in the self sort of harm in which they even doing to themselves because they don't feel belong. Don't get me wrong. Also, kids who are born as only biracial, they have some sort of identity crisis. Why would I want to put my children through that? For someone who is very vocal about proudly being who I am, I'm not going to have a biracial child because I'm going to fuck that child up. Because I'm going to tell you all the fucked up shit your ancestor did, your father ancestors did. Why would I put my child through that? And I know where I am now in my 30s. I'm in my solid state of mindset. I'm not going to change my mindset. I might change in which how I do things to a certain degree, but my mindset is not going to change about how I feel and what I know about Europeans because I've studied it now. So I'm not going to want to have children by them. Absolutely not. I have one of them who is he's basically a rich Jewish man, and he's like he used to be my old friend. He wants to be with me, and I'm like, not really. I'm not into you. I don't even send him messages, right? Because I don't want that. I want to have a fully a child that look like me, that can relate to me. I want my partner and I to be related, for us to relate to each other, because that's love. What people think defining interracial relationship is not love. I've seen family members who are in interrelational relationship, and it's based on the proximity to whiteness on both, all of them, and they allow these white partners to treat them like crap and that family like crap, and they stay in it because they call it love. That's not love, that's self-hate.
yo, can I speak? I got some major
Can I
pushback.
respond after that as well?
So I
Go.
disagree with
Let Dr.
everything.
Miami go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, bro.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, I apologize. I'm driving, but I totally disagree with everything she just said. I'm married outside my race, far from weak, and everything that's basically been discussed is subjective and is opinionated. Because I heard her say that these people can never find love or truly love each other. That's her opinion. How can she tell somebody how to love and what love feel like to them? So I understand your stance and things of that nature, but you know, and to really push back, it's funny that people don't have a open mind to being around a certain group, but they'll work for them, they'll pay their bills to them, they'll pay a ticket to them. Hell, if they get slapped across the face by them, they won't even hit back. You know what I'm saying? So it's really all this shit is subjective. So to each his own. If you don't date outside your race, or if you do, it's not a good or bad thing. I don't want nobody to be in here. confusing people like it's a negative or a positive. It's how you gonna build and grow from
Yes.
whatever position you're in.
Yes.
It's
Hey,
definitely
doctor.
it's definitely a negative. I
Hey
don't know
yo,
what y'all over here
let him
talking about.
finish
There's
landing his
definitely
plane.
too many
Hey,
Let
fucking
him
doctor.
black
finish
people
landing.
in
Let him
here.
finish landing.
Like I said, hey, you man, look, when you know self, you can't even
Shut the fuck
argue
up.
with
You're
people
not
that's
even a
gonna have
doctor.
look
Hey,
here.
chill
See,
out, mama. Chill out.
that's
Masika.
what happens, man, when you know
Who
Fake
said
ass
that?
doctor.
when your energy is
Who
strong.
But
said
you're
It,
not
it
a
comes
doctor
it
either.
You
comes
don't even have
it
good
comes through the
energy. Tanika, you
phone.
look like a
Where
Where's your
monkey.
degree?
So does your mama.
All right, whoever that
I guess
was
we got
said that, shoot that motherfucker, bro. That's
I guess we
wild.
got trolls. I'm a land
It
though.
was
They in the
Is
goo.
this
Carly
a
through
room
a
full of
knife.
All the
It was
faggots?
cartoons.
Carly
Can
through a knife
I,
through there.
All the cartoons. Take all the
Is
cartoons
this-
off.
can I
You look like a
respond?
cartoon, you big nigger
Wait, I
bitch.
didn't know
Hello.
that.
Ron, you cannot respond. I'm sorry. Nah, we're not doing
Fucking
that
nigger.
disrespect shit over here. That's out.
I'm here to collect
Hey,
money.
stop bringing
Faggots?
them up. Stop bringing the cartoons up.
Hey man, give me a
Don't bring
bean
the
so I can
cartoons up.
monitor that shit, bro. Cause that shit pissing me
Give me
off,
the
bro.
money.
I
Bring
ain't
them up. None
gonna
of them mine. Bringing them up.
Who said that?
Hey, who keep bringing the Don't bring the cartoons up. Don't bring them up.
Man,
I've just sent
Hey,
them all to the goo.
hold on, bro. Y'all in straight no chaser, bro. So if you date outside your race, are you weak minded? That's the topic, bro. It's 34 people in here. We got 17 shares, man. Y'all share up, ping somebody to ping somebody, bro. Shout out to the mods on stage, everybody that came through. I'm fucking with y'all. We rocking out. All right. It was on Doctor. I think he just wrapped it up. I think Miss Tanika got a question. I want to chime in, but before you chime in, I got a question right quick for you, Doctor. Now, I listened to everything you said, and in a sense, I kind of agree with everything both of y'all was saying. Y'all both making good points. My thing, because you said, you dating outside your race, I'm going to ask this question. All right, so how, as a black man, bro, all right, I'ma just use the Mr. Floyd situation at the height of that shit, bro. How, as a black man, can you go out? And I ain't saying you was doing this, so let's throw that out there. I'm not saying that everything that's what you're doing, but we just hypothetically speaking. How, as a black man, can you go out, protest for our people, stand up for our people? I'm supporting my people, this and that. But then you turn around, bro, and you go home with an opposite race. Now I can't tell you who to love or who not to love or nothing like that. But the way I look at it, just me personally, I feel like this. Once I get into a interracial relationship, I can no longer be 100% in for my people because technically, once I marry, I have a child with the opposite race. I feel, and it's just me saying this, bro. I feel like it's a slap in the face, or it's kind of disrespectful to be black power this, but my opposite can't come in the house and be like white power this, white power that. So, like, to me, that's why I kind of feel like that is a low key of the weak minded, and not saying you, but just like a lot of black people I talk to that date outside they race and shit, they feel some type of way against black people. You feel what I'm saying? Which is, and I ain't,
Florida.
I'm not saying this you, doctor. So I'm gonna just land there 'cause I don't want to seem like I'm going too far.
No doubt. So
Florida.
that was a
Why,
question.
if you were dating a white woman, why would she be someone who was saying white power this, white power that?
So,
If she was dating you, she wouldn't
but
be. Quite the reverse.
who am I to tell
I
her
mean,
not to be herself though? In a sense, is if
yeah,
that's what she came from, like that's
if
what I'm
she
saying.
was a white
That's a
woman with
that's an
white
oxymoron,
thinking
bro.
white
Like
Right,
power, she
that's what he
wouldn't be
No,
said.
no,
hold
dating
I'm
on,
you.
not.
hold on,
Hold
hold
can I
on,
on,
answer
hold
the
on.
If
question?
hold up,
she,
Like
Claire.
it would
I
be
he
use
someone
asked
Can
like
I answer the
myself
question?
who
Claire.
he
is
asked
I
the
use the
question
pro-black,
to
white
doctor
power,
though.
Claire.
anti-racist,
Claire.
who supports you.
I use the white power as a reference because I could have came and said I just used that because everybody could resonate with that. I could have just been from the South, been like Dixie Pride or some shit like that. You get what I'm saying? That's more of a in the South. That's more of a white people thing that they use. What I'm basically saying is when I said the white power, I'm referring to her who she come from, her background. She necessarily ain't got to be out here on some KKK shit, but her family could be having her raised up under white power. Black people say it all the time. Black power, fight the power. Black lives matter. So what I'm saying is, how as a black man, if I'm dating you, Claire, you're white. You feel what I'm saying? If I'm dating you and I'm going out every day in the height of protests and all this, I just feel like it's low key a slap in your face if I'm protesting and doing all this and you have to shut up and be quiet. That's all I'm saying.
No, that's my point. You wouldn't be.
Oh my
I'd
god.
be
Yo,
joining
can I?
you
I can
on
put
the
some reference
protest.
and
That's
balance
my
to the
point.
question.
Hold on.
Bec-
Okay. Like I'm pretty sure like Florida asks. No disrespect to you, Claire. Definitely no disrespect to you. But he was asking Doctor a question and he wasn't able to respond to the question. So let him answer.
Okay.
Then you could let him do that real quick, please.
And to be clear, I see where she's going with that, and she got a good point. So it would be asinine and crazy for somebody of color to attract somebody with a background like that. Now, ancestry, that's something you can't control. Hell, even we got a fucked up background. I just brung that up where the Moors sold us out. So this slavery shit is the middle of the story for me. I'm very intelligent when it comes to this topic or just life in general. I'm not saying I'm the smartest man because I wouldn't even be in this room. But to talk about everything you were saying, brother,
Hey,
um,
what's that supposed to mean? No, just playing, bro.
you good. So my son, all right, he's mixed, and I heard a few people, speak on that topic of how is the kids gonna grow up and things of that nature. Man, my kid don't have none. I got three mixed kids, and they don't have no issues. One's in college, getting ready to be a cop. The other one just graduated high school. My youngest is in what, sixth grade now. He taught his teacher something because we had a conversation about so-called Black History Month, and I asked him what he learned. And they was talking about Martin Luther King, and he told me what they learned about him. So they basically told my son that he died from a gunshot wound. I'm far from pro-black. I don't even know what that means because that's a whole nother topic. But uh, I'm well knowledgeable in my history and my ancestry to know that that ain't how Dr. King died. So I told him the truth that he was smothered by his own fucking pillow that he was supposed to lay his head on to have surgery on. And he went back to school and told his class that. So my son is far from ignorant of his black side, his you know, of who he is, basically, genetically. He just happened to be mixed with something else. So,
You
like
can
I
love
said, man,
whoever you want to love.
yeah, bro, it's that simple. You know what I'm saying?
I
And
think y'all missing
for,
my point. I'm be real. I'm not
no, no, no.
knocking.
I don't think we are, bro. At least I'm trying not
Go
to,
ahead.
because you kind of painted the picture of somebody integrating and having sex with a damn near a Klansman. First of all, my wife ain't even from America.
Nah, listen,
You know what I'm
bro. I'm
saying?
not saying the Klansman shit,
I know,
bro.
not me personally. I'm just
Yeah.
I'm speaking of the scenario you was talking about, bro. I'm like, that's a little
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
I ain't even my homeboys that date outside they race, and man, they girls they don't even like other white girls like that. You know what I'm saying? There's people out there, bro, that get it.
May I speak?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Honestly, like, are you guys listening? Do you see what's going on? Do you see how people are arguing and fighting because of diversity? I feel like that's the problem right there. The fact that we are literally taking on what our ancestors been through, which is constantly keeping us stuck in this mindset that somebody got a hot mic,
Oh,
which is constantly keeping us stuck in this mindset as if we were once slaves. Unfortunately, there was a terrible background. in this world where we came from. But the problem is we are constantly reminded about it, which is keeping us segregated and fighting each other. Because our great great grandfather and your great great grandfather, so we're gonna hate each other because they hated each other. When do we move the fuck? I'm sorry, excuse me. When do we move forward? When do we stop looking in the terrible past where we came from and start moving forward into a future and stop teaching that stuff to our kids? Do you think I want my kids to be raised knowing that people were actually slaved and chained to damn trees? No. I want them to live in a life where that shit don't even exist anymore. But until we move forward, we're going to continue to go right back to it. Because people to this day are still mad as if they even were slaves. Or their mama was a slave. No, you wasn't. And no, neither was your mama.
Facts.
Move forward.
No,
Let's
that's not
heal
fact.
this world
Can I
by
respond
letting
to that?
shit
Hold on,
go.
let
I
her
know.
land her plane. Go ahead. Go ahead, Geneva.
I don't want to seem as if I'm inconsiderate because I'm not. My mother was a Black history teacher, but I feel like at some because I was always taught don't bring a Black man home, and I ended up marrying a white one because at some point in time, where do we move forward? I don't want to live a life hating another person because of their color, simply because of what our ancestors and great ancestors did. No, because I would be just as wrong as the people who did that to them. It's hatred. And if how can I get mad over hatred if I'm going to exhibit the same hate by hating somebody else for no goddamn reason, simply because of color of their skin? It's a contradiction and a double standard that people will hold forever if you continue to repeat that cycle. And I know it's hard to say because who wants to get over it? Because it's like people like, how can you just get over it? How about we don't have to get over it because we never lived it? But are we going to continue to go dig deep and then sit in the suffering and the pain that we never even had to sit in? And then blame people just to have a reason to fight and argue? And continue to stay segregated and wonder why the world is so filled with violence and hatred and war. And that's the problem with this world still to this day. We are trying to get over the hatred and the war, but we're going to keep going right back there simply because of color, because of culture. People can't get along no more. They're always going to find every reason to segregate and fight. And the minute that people continue to show that repetitive behavior, you're going to still be the problem. I'm very diverse. And I would never blame anybody because of a color or their culture or where the hell they're from. And then as long as we continue to do that, that's why we at war still to this day. That's why the coronavirus is still here. Yeah. Let's go deep.
Can
Because
I
of the
respond to that?
mindset. So this is
Hey,
Gigi.
yo, somebody wants to respond to that. Who
That
was
was
that?
me. Poetic
Go ahead,
Black.
Poetic. And then after
Yeah.
Poetic, Tanika, please speak.
Alright.
All right. This is the reason why this that type of mindset, that right there. And I'm not coming at you, Queen. I'm really not. But this is the type of mindset, the reason why we look in our communities and we don't own shit in our communities. We allow everybody to come in our communities, rape it, take our resources out of the community, build their communities, and then look at us like we ain't shit. And it's like I want to ask the question because all the stuff the sister was saying, she was like, we got to get past this. We gotta really get past the hatred and all this. We gotta look past this. No one ever say to the Jew to get past the Holocaust. Nobody ever says that. They say, oh, they sympathize with them. They say it was a horrific, time in history, and they say that you should receive reparations for it. You should be compensated or whatever. The world should acknowledge your pain. But black people want to be the people to say, oh, let's forget about it. Let's go back in history a little bit. In the 60s, the type of behavior you're talking about, oh, let's get along, let's try to get along. King tried that. What happened? What happened? They got dogs sicked on them. They got hot coffee poured on them. They got beat with billy clubs, sprayed down with water hoses. They tried to let's just be together. Oh, we shall overcome. We tried that. And you seen the end effect of it. It didn't bring us no good. It didn't bring
But
us
that's
no
the
equal
problem.
justice.
You didn't try that.
Yo, let
But
him
listen,
land
so
his
hold on.
plane,
Yeah,
please. Let
but
him land his
sister,
plane, please.
yeah,
Go ahead,
what I'm
poet.
trying to yeah, what I'm trying to say, sister, is that pretty much, we got to get on a different time. Like you see, everybody around us are advancing. Everybody who come in this country as immigrants, they advance. They advance because they understand the idea of networking. They understand the idea of cultural economics. We the only people who allow anybody to come in our community and take our resources and do whatever they want with it, and then look at us with disdain. So now we got to get on the type of time to say, no, we got to practice cultural economics. We got to see that if there's a black store in the community, we got to patronize that store. We got to build more stores in the community. But this concept of, oh, we can all just spread love and it can be okay. No, it can't be okay because you can't sweep this big ass elephant under the rug. We gonna still see this shit. Slavery, you can never wash this stain away. That's why black people are talking about reparations. You want to make an even playing field. You want to say that you're really sorry. You really are regretful for what you did. Then give black people reparations. Treat black people as equal citizens. All this stuff though, we shall overcome and all that. That's why I think, like the brother said, and I agree with him 100%, is like a slap in the face. All the shit that our ancestors been through, all the history that we have in this country, for you to just lay up and say, okay, yeah, that's over now. It don't affect me. It's like, damn, like where's your conscience? And that's why I always question a person to say that they know something or you aware of something. Are you really aware? Do you really know what's going on? But I just land with that though.
All right. So there's a lot I want to respond to, but I'm going to make it as short as possible. One of the main things, and somebody just said something in the comments about teaching their children to see color, Melissa, but don't judge a person based on color. So as a black woman, I'm fully black. Both of my parents are black, black of the black. What I want people to do, I want people to see me as a black woman. I don't want anybody to say, well, I don't see you as a black woman. To me, that's more disrespectful than anything. I want you to acknowledge the fact that I'm a black woman and respect me as such until our people, and I use air quotes because I hate the term our people. Just because somebody appears to be African American doesn't necessarily make them our people. You discredit every other race that's out there. I'm not discrediting the slaves and everything that our ancestors went through, but what we can't do is we can't ignore it. We can't ignore it and we can't stay stuck on it. We teach our children what happened, but we also teach them to love beyond all of that. If we never teach them to love, then we're going to stay stuck in the same cycle for years upon years. And we're going to continue to have this same conversation of who somebody can love. And my thing is, who you love
Fact.
is, love is a choice. Hold on. I'm going to land the plane in a
Now
second.
keep going.
Love is a choice.
Nah, man, yo, let her land her plane. Take your time,
I,
Sanika. Take your time. Go ahead.
we love is a choice. We choose who we want to love. And this is just my opinion. I'm not going to debate my opinion because it is what it is. If I want to love a white man, if I want to love a Hispanic, an Asian, or whatever other race, if I put my mind to loving that person wholeheartedly, then that's what Tanika is going to do. And I would love him just as I love any other person. It all starts and ends with love. And until we get that, we have so much hatred just among our people. And we wonder why the white man and the Hispanics and every other race is so against us. It's because one, we're against ourselves. If we weren't against ourselves, we wouldn't even have to have this conversation. If you choose to be with somebody that is black, then be with them. If you want to be with somebody that's not in your race, be with them. Be with whoever makes you happy. I'm landing my plane.
Okay, there was a brother that was trying to respond. Please speak your speech. And then after that, Argelia, I want to say that's your name. She got the floor after him.
I think that was just Vincent that was, I think, agreeing. I think.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, thank you. So, Geneva. So someone was talking. I think Doctor was talking. I also mentioned George Floyd. When George Floyd was, choked to death or kneeled to death, the white woman he was with, and this is out there, please go on YouTube, asking, she doesn't even care about his, even to say, oh, I'm sad that he's dead, I'm so horrified. The first thing she opened her mouth to say is to forgive Chavez. uh well, listen, there's his choice, he made it, and guess what happened? That's what happened in the end. I also want to make it clear. I know this sort of things what we teach, because let me say this to you: in history has been proven that black folks has taught their children. They have taught their children how to be very kind to other people except black people. We are the one who teach our children how to like other people, how to welcome other people. If that wasn't the case, you and I would not be in this room. You and I would not be in this room. Europeans don't have these type of conversations among themselves because they're already on code. They know they're the one that they allow out of that community to go marry out of their race. They know those ones. They're out of that codes. I mean, they're on that code. They're all in that code. That racism is inherent because they teach. You can never be able to listen. This sort of notion that we are going to change the world by us changing everybody else to basically throw stones and bullet at us. So let's just be the shield and then let's just welcome them with open arms. It's a fallacies. The reality is the only way in which your children are going to get respect if you teach them self-love and self-preservation. When other people, you look into the Asian community, they teach the children self-preservation. It's very rare to go out to marry. And the European respect them and vice versa. We're the only one. We're always running to everybody else to be our savior, whether it's in marriage, whether it's in business. We're always running to everybody else to do it first before we choose ourselves. In order for us to be able to move forward as a race, it has to be something we have to teach our children self-love. And if they want to deem it black supremacy, then oh well. European has been teaching since they came out of the woodwork in Europe. They've been teaching their children that. Why is it a problem now to teach your children that? You keep putting your children in dangerous situation where they cannot even, because the idea of self and self wealth is not there. They go into these urban schools that is not built for them, does not even give them even updated educational system. They don't even see self as valuable within the community, within the country they exist in. And you tell them the only way you can move forward is to marry out of your race, not to build yourself up as an individual. You know how am I? If I was that child, you know what I'm seeking to marriage other people out of their race. You know what I'm doing? I'm not seeking to marry truly because I truly love that person. Almost all the time, 98% interracial marriages is usually they see the importance of whiteness. Both of them. The white side is saying, yeah, they want to marry me because they want my white skin. The black side is saying, I want to marry because I'm closer to white and my child is biracial now. So, life is a little more easier for them, which is very true compared to a monoracial black child. This is the reality we don't live in. And we don't even think about the mental consequences in which these children are having because they're in the world where they don't feel belong. One race is overpowering, oppressing the other race. Another race feel inferior. These children feel very conflicted. I always say, if you want your future, if you want to be able to have a better future, always look to see the better future you can give to your coming generation. If you are choosing love solely based on your own sexual organ and how you feel when you're around somebody, that chemical reaction is turning in your head. You're not thinking about the future because love is not based on that. I always tell people, love is everything else except that feeling you have. That feeling you have is not love, it's infatuation. Love is the thing that will keep you going 20, 50, 60 years from now if you are burned to the heads down. Love is the thing that will keep you close to your partner. Because that's the thing, is buried in understanding, in mindset, in cultural value, in how you call it, social identity and social programming. If you are not going, if you think a white woman is going to understand, or a white man is going to understand you, this is why I tell you, I myself, I used to date interracially when I was younger. And I learned after the third one that none of them are different. One of them actually told me sincerely in my face, he said, I'm going to be honest with you. As a white man, I would never understand you, but I'm always here to listen to you. I don't need a partner. He
Tell
liked
me
me
what he
deeply.
said.
Some people say I didn't have experience. I have experience. I have family members who are married, who are interracial marriages. And it's a hot mess. They're on the top of the food chain when it comes to career, but they're marrying these low level, low life people because they want to be closer to whiteness. And if we don't get it and we don't understand it, we think, oh yeah, because we who are talking, we're talking. Me, for me, it's about my coming generation. I want my children to be the next astronauts. I need my children to be the next scientists. I need, in order for me to build that, I have to build a full holistic child. I cannot do that when a child is biracial. That child is already conflicted within its own skin color, its own mixture. I don't need that for my child. So I use my mic.
Okay, I'm going to step in real quick before anybody else speaks. I want to do a quick reset on the room. Say thank you to everybody who's in here, all the new people that are in here. If you're not following the club, if you go to the top, click on the greenhouse, follow the club, you're going to get notifications when we open rooms. We open rooms like this frequently. Follow the mods. Thank you for everybody coming in, giving your input, giving your thoughts, your opinions. This is straight no chaser. Everybody can say what they want to say. We just ask that you all do it respectfully. I know there's a lot of people in here that want to speak. I just want to say a quick couple of things on what Arjili was just speaking about. Two questions that I have. Are you saying that, number one, are you saying that um, other cultures and other races cannot teach their children to be kind to people who are outside of their race? And the second question, are you saying that white people are lowlifes?
I never said white people are low lives. I said they're marrying low lives.
So you're saying that white
So
people are lowlifes?
the people who they marry, they're low lives, even if they're white or black. But they happen to be the lower of the lowest within. Yes, I know. I grew up in Boston. I know a lot of wealthy, high end, educated white people. They don't marry those people to go after low lives. And yes, most races don't teach their children how to be kind. I watched a video. It was from England, and this video is so compelling. It's actually it's an experiment with children, young children, and they put them in this room and they tell them things. Right? They will say, "Oh, don't do this," and then they will leave, and it would be a toy or something. Whether it would take one, and then they would leave, and when they leave, these children would take a lot. Right? So there was an episode. Most of the time, it's usually mostly a European children. There was an episode where they had this little black girl, and this little girl, everything they tested her with, she passed it with flying color. However, the other white kids, not so much. And then they would look in their faces and lie, and then the parents are smiling like, and I'm like, duh. And literally, this little black girl kept passing everything: the honesty, the love, the caring. The white kids wasn't doing that. They weren't doing that. Every time they would do something, they would do exactly what they told them not to do. And then when they asked them, because they don't know there was camera in the room, when they asked them, they will lie about it, right? They will ask the
But
parents
that's not
anything.
but that's
So
not
yeah,
all white people. That's not all white
let me
people
tell
that
you,
do that.
if you know what Muhammad Ali said to somebody. He said, "I don't. If I see 100 white people coming, right, And just
Said
one of them,
10,000 snakes. Let me help you.
right?
10,000 snakes and
One
one
of them
thousand.
are
Well,
kind.
Right.
if she gonna quote it, she ought to know it,
I
right?
was
Ain't
gonna
it?
help
You know,
out.
I
Right.
like snakes.
Yo, yo,
I like
yo,
So
yo,
snakes.
yo. One mic, one mic, one mic, one mic. Go ahead.
So one of them are kind. They're all rushing towards me. So I should just wait instead of that one because this is what another person was telling him. Are you saying all white people are bad? He said 1 out of 10. No, he said 1 out of 100. He said, and then he said, he said, so what will you do? He said, so you want me to stand the fact that there's one of them who might be nice and the 99 of them actually staying away from them so they can all come and charge you at me to beat me up and end up killing me? He said, no, I'm going to run, right? So this is the notion in which we sort of de-arm black people. Oh, not all white people. For me, I live in Boston. I live in the heart of whiteness. And I can tell you, my experience, honey, I'm going to not lie to you. It's very rare you find a nice one. And I use my mic.
Okay, but that's your experience. Not all white people are like that. I'm a white woman. I'm in an interracial marriage. My husband is black. I didn't marry him for his color. I married him because I love him. I have 3 children. Not one of my children are racist. I have 2 children who have dated outside of their race. My third child, who has just turned 13 yesterday in the 4th grade, took it upon herself to find a book on Black history to do a book report. So don't sit and say that all white people are like this and that all white people do marry outside to the Black race because they want to get close to the Black people. Come to reality. Part of the problem is what's happening right now. Until we come together as a united front, black, white, purple, green, orange, blue, brown, yellow, I don't care what color you are, racism is going to happen. We have to come together as a society and as human beings to make sure that racism can end. We have to be the ones to teach our children that it's okay to see color, but don't judge based on color. It's okay to love outside of your race. Who you fall in love with is who you fall in love with. It don't matter what their color is. I'm going to land my mic.
So let me ask you this, Crystal. Like, what does your kids identify as?
All 3 of my children are white.
Okay. So like this is basically what I'm trying to say. Like, you know what I'm saying? The harsh reality of the world, they're gonna look at your kids if they identify as white as either N-word lovers and all that stuff. I see it every day. I have a daughter that's biracial and she's attacked all the time.
And we
All the
welcome it.
time.
We welcome it though. We welcome
You
it.
know what I'm saying? But
We ain't
basically
ducking.
what
Hey, brother, my
go ahead,
brother.
go ahead, go ahead,
We
go
not
ahead,
ducking
Vent.
no phase. We ain't ducking no phase. Bring all comers. Yeah, we ain't ducking no phase. We don't give a look, man. That color shit, man. Y'all want to live in that huggy bear ass way of thinking that you gotta be so dedicated to your black race. Man, the black race ain't dedicated to the black race. Trying to tell us that we're who we
Baby, that's
supposed.
all I'm
You
saying.
know, you know what I'm
Wait, wait,
saying?
wait, 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 wait,
The
wait, wait.
black race
See,
ain't
I have to
dedicated to the black
highly
race.
disagree with that. I highly
How
gotta
do you
disagree
disagree
with
with
that.
that
I
disagree
highly
with
gotta
something that is
I
so
highly
clear? We
gotta
not
disagree with
united.
that, bro.
Are
I
we
highly gotta
united? Are
disagree
we
with that.
united?
I
Are we
gotta highly
united?
disagree
Just
with
answer
that
that
for this.
question. Are we united?
I
Just
gotta
answer
highly
that.
disagree.
We
I
not
gotta highly disagree with
just
that from this
Okay,
arguing.
but are we
perspective, bro.
united? I'm asking you a
I
question.
gotta
Are we
highly disagree
united?
with you on that on from this perspective, bro. Because what y'all doing, y'all are sitting up there and projecting what a certain minority of people that look like us think and act. That is not a fair assessment. Just like the other sister that was sitting there projecting upon all white people are biracial, that they are evil or they less of people, that's irresponsible.
So are we united? I just asked you that
Yeah, we
question.
No,
united.
we
Are
are
we
not
united, my brother?
united, bro, because we having this
Okay, I
conversation
rest
right
my
now
case
because
then.
we
When we
not
get
united, bro.
united, then I understand where you coming from. But nigga, I come from where we never was united. It's always divided. Politics and the whole shit. LA, California. And I done traveled this world and seen it nice and I done seen it fucked up. But what I haven't seen is us being united. So show me where we united and I understand where you coming from.
We not
Cause I don't
united,
see the
no.
world.
We
I don't
not
see the world
united,
like you
no
do.
fucking where, bro. We not united with ourselves, and we definitely not united
So when
in this
black
whole
people learn
fucking
to work with
country,
black
bro. We
people,
definitely
when black
not.
people learn to love black people and look out for black people, support black people, when we start supporting our own business, look, my nigga, my link been up there to my clubhouse. How many of y'all went to it and clicked on it and shared it? I'm not asking you to, but I'm just saying. We don't even support each
I
other
went
when
to
we
your
do shit.
Instagram and seen your white wife. That's why you talking like that, cause you with a white woman, fam. Stop
We
trying to
this is
Hey
protect
my
your
yo,
room.
man.
I'm
man.
the
Hey
one
yo,
who
man.
opened the
Wait, wait,
It,
wait,
room.
it
wait,
don't
wait,
matter,
bro.
black.
I'm
Like
the
You
that's
one
you
who
kind of
you
opened the
trying to
room. This is
project
man.
my
on us
room.
like
That's
niggas ain't
kind of
sticking together,
This
nigga.
disrespectful,
is
That's
my
Ocean,
cap.
room.
bro.
This
Uh,
this is
Man,
my
it's
room.
cap, bro. I ain't gonna let you sit
Yeah,
up here and
what are
cap
you
like
talking
that.
about, nigga?
Deja,
This is
So
just
my
be
I
room.
quiet.
understand that. That's
it's,
cool.
that's
Y'all gotta
So what
have
is
I
you?
hold
What
people
on.
is
that
you
Let's
will
let's
love
saying?
hear
Ain't
somebody
no.
Ocean,
That's not
outside
what
man.
his
you
race.
getting
Let's
at.
hear
Y'all
Ocean,
gotta have
gang.
Yeah,
hey
people
No,
one
yo,
mic,
no,
one
no,
mic
one
no,
at a
mic,
no, no,
time.
no,
one
One
no,
mic
mic,
at
no.
a
one
time.
Yeah,
One
mic.
mic
yeah.
at
This
a
ain't the
time.
room.
One
This
mic
ain't that
on
type of
Vincent,
room,
bro.
my
One
nigga.
mic on Vincent. Stop muting
Yeah,
these
this ain't that type
motherfuckers
of
up,
room, my
Vince.
nigga. This is not that type of room, bro. Respectfully, everybody here respect. I respect everybody's opinion in here. This is my opinion now. So respect my opinion, my nigga. Like goddamn, like listen, man.
shit
We
cap,
all
my nigga.
gonna feel. Listen, we all gonna look at this topic in our own different way. I choose to look at it like God gave this beautiful world to me, to the people, to the food, to the trees, to the leaves, to the air, to the sun, to the moon. Ain't no nigga, nobody gonna dictate who I date and who I should fall in love with. Nigga, that is asinine. I don't care how much history you hit me with. This is 2022. Get your money, get your family in order. Work on getting our people in order. Instead of arguing about shit that don't mean nothing in the scheme of things.
Well, so
That's how
you
I
know,
You
can
look
I
done.
at it.
All
can I
right, so
interject in
basically
that,
what you
brother?
saying is okay, cause somebody up in the chat is they just saying some irresponsible ass shit in the chat,
Oh,
bro. They
oh
keep
man.
sitting up there saying shit like that we still living in chains, bro. After the 13th Amendment, that shit free slave, but what they do, they criminalize us for every little fucking thing. So whenever we sitting up here and we speaking our fucking speech, bruh, we really mean that shit, bruh. You know what it feel like to get profiled when you ain't doing shit? I ain't no fucking gang member. I'm a hard working person. I pay my taxes. I take care of my children. I still get nervous whenever a police get behind me because I try to make it home every fucking night to my fucking family, bruh. So whenever you sitting up there saying that we still in chains, yeah, we still is, bruh. I can't sit up there and walk out this motherfucker comfortable. I tell my family before I leave out the fucking house every fucking day that I love them because I want that to be the last words I say. Whenever I leave out my house to go to work, I expect that to be my last time seeing my fucking family. There ain't no fucking way to live, but that's reality. Ain't no such thing as you sitting up there talking about loving your way out this shit. In an ideal world, in an idealistic world, I do love all human beings, bro, because it's only race, it's human race. But due to ideological differences, difference in pigmentation, this country is fucked up. Live in reality. We not living in the fucking past, bro. This shit, I face this shit every fucking day. I'm in Louisiana, bro. They just had somebody got hang out here.
Let me ask you a question, my brother. Let me ask you a question, right? Let's say you out, right? You out and about and you see this Mexican girl. You know what I'm saying? Because we talking in our race, like that's any race. You ain't supposed to out your race at all. And y'all vibing, the vibe is there. You feeling it, she attracted you. So you gonna let that shit you talking about right there prevent you from being happy?
No, bro, brother. Matter of fact, let me preference my
That's all
statement
I'm
because
talking about. You
I
all
was
this
addressing,
extra shit.
somebody in the chat when
I
I
know,
got that passionate.
I know.
When
Cause all I'm saying, that's all I'm
okay,
saying. All
but
that
basically
extra
what I'm
shit.
saying,
Go ahead. No, go ahead. You good?
go ahead, bro. My bad.
No,
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, like that's what I'm talking about. Like all that. Not saying you. I'm just saying all that extra shit, like the pigments, the skin. Man, I done heard all of that. I done
Well, can I
heard it
come in now?
all, brother. I done heard it all, brother. You know what I decided? I'm gonna live my life. I'm gonna be happy. That's what I'm gonna do.
But I think it's
respect,
insane though.
respect, respect, respect the others who want to nitpick. That's on you. I ain't mad at you. While I'm over here being happy, living my life until the day I die, the one God gave me, you go ahead and nitpick. You go ahead and drive yourself crazy. You go and miss your blessings because somebody then told you. some shit a long time ago. Cause this ain't a long
Man,
time
we
thing.
can't nation build because of niggas with that mind frame, bro. That's it
I
right
know,
there.
I'll be
and
a hundred with
but
you,
we
bro.
can't
I'm
nation
gonna
build
tell
with
you what
niggas like
make you
you
weak
who don't
minded
want to reach
whenever
out
you
to
in
your
an
own people and
interracial
get your own people in
relationship,
order. You
bro.
want to poison your people by telling them to keep hating, to keep
Well,
silently
so
Nah,
so I
hating.
Just
think
let me
said
that's
put
you
it this
only
way.
wear
but
Yeah,
Let
that's
me
African.
what
just
that
say this
is.
real
That's
quick.
silent
I
hate, my
promise
nigga.
y'all. Just
One mic,
let me get this
Silent
off real
hate.
one
quick.
mic, one mic.
That's silent hate, bro.
can you just like hear Ocean out right quick so we can hear what he's
Oh
saying?
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
let me
man.
just
Go
land
ahead.
my
Yeah,
plan real
let me
quick,
listen.
bro. Like what
Yeah, go
makes
ahead.
you weak minded is whenever you in an interracial relationship and you down your own people, bro. That's what make you weak minded, bro. Because
Who
you
did
sitting
that?
up there and you pray. No, I'm not saying nobody in here are doing that, but I have seen situations where that shit happens to where they get married to a person that's outside of their race and then they forget where the fuck they come from. I
Yeah,
see
that's
that
not
shit
here.
all the time, bro.
Yeah, that's not here. That ain't here at all. But yeah, I want to hear Ocean.
No,
What he
I'm
got to
not
say?
saying I'm not saying that's none of y'all at all. I'm not throwing. I don't believe none of y'all doing
No,
that shit at
not
all.
you, not you, but Ocean do. He do.
Go ahead, Ocean.
What's the question, man? I said
Well,
what
hold
I
on.
said. You want me to repeat it?
Let me go in
You
there, Vincent. Like I think because I heard you guys, and I sort of sort of understand where you're coming from, but I think it's when just to address the title, I think if you do date outside your race, I don't necessarily think you are weak minded or anything like that. When dating out of specific towards specific races, but in my opinion, any sort of black folks specifically, foundational black Americans, who sort of date, white people, in my opinion, is sort of weak minded, because in my opinion, white people specifically are the greatest criminals and, the most savage animals, that sort of touch this earth. So when you date, that race specifically, I do think you are weak minded. But when we talk about, the other races, I don't necessarily think, you are weak minded, but I do think that you don't necessarily have what is needed, for black people to reclaim their glory and also take, what's rightfully theirs in this country. I mean, like 13.4% of the population, only 4% of the wealth we own and that sort of thing. When you take the white counterpart, about 60% are pure white, and then you have them owning like 83% of the wealth in this country. So, and then this country, specifically my country, was built on race. Take a look at the 1638 Maryland Doctrine of Exclusion. You see black people would never be able to actually enjoy the fruits of a white society. That was literally in 1638 Maryland Doctrine of Exclusion. You do your own research, but yeah, once again, I do think any black person, who dates the collective group that sort of stole their last name, raped their ancestors and shit like that is kind of weak minded. You know what I'm saying? I understand this whole notion that you're in 2022, but I mean, what do you think? Do you think it was just, we're in 2022, and the reason why you own 4% of the wealth in this country is because like you're just some, what I'm saying? Like you just think that shit not tied to history. Majority of the stuff is actually tied to history. We literally, it's only been like 60 years since we was truly free. And I mean, it's a ton of stuff that people just sort of ignore in the history. We take a look at the history once again. I mean, you literally have a lady up here who's saying, her children are white, interracial children, I think, or something like that. Maybe not. But it's kind of insane when we talk about it in the large scheme of things. You got to sort of point to the history. And all black folks aren't like sort of kinfolk, right? So once again, we have people up here, sort of saying, hey, we just, it's okay, what I'm saying, like, oh, these people just raped, killed, murdered your ancestors, enslaved them, traded the children and shit like that. That's fine. I mean, I don't think that if I was enslaved, I would want my children to go date the enemy. You know what I'm saying? I don't want my children sort of, dating the people who enslaved, raped, butt broke me and shit like that. So I think it's important when you take a look at the history and you point to what it really is. But yeah, I do
That's
think
why
people
we
who
not
date
gonna
the
move
white
forward.
race.
We still
No, I
talking
mean,
about. We talking about. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Are you
yeah,
serious?
bro, I'm
Are you
100% serious.
serious?
That's just my opinion, though. You know what I'm saying? You got
But
your
It's
I'm
sad.
the
opinion.
law. I'm the law
It's
student, so
sad
I'm
that
gonna
you
mute
gotta
my
ask
mic.
him, is he serious, bro? Why you asking me? Is he serious?
I mean, it's
Can
literally
I
the
add to the
history. I
conversation?
mean,
Hey,
when you point to the
it
The
don't
history,
the,
matter.
the history speak
It
for
don't matter
itself,
because
bro.
listen, y'all came in here just to push that narrative
no, no, I'm just
instead of
telling
just
you,
get to the topic and
addressing the
having the
topic, brother.
conversation. Y'all want to push that narrative, so there's no need for no back and forth. Y'all stuck in what y'all
Right.
on,
That's how
and I
you end
respect
it.
that.
It's
Just respect the room, though. Respect the
No,
room.
I
That's
respect
all
just
I'm
the
saying.
room.
respect.
You know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
Vincent? I respect the room. I just gave, sort of my opinion, supportive, with the fact, just like you feel that, it's nothing wrong with, sort of
I'm
dating
saying
those
baby because
who
I'm looking
brutalize
at
your
you reading that
ancestors.
one
See,
book.
that's what I'm saying, Justice. Why you doing that, bro? Why you doing
No,
that?
I'm just, ain't that the
Yeah,
facts though?
Everybody else in here, chill. Want to just conversate about the topic? You want to keep going there though? Like, why you want to keep doing that?
No, bro.
That ain't part of
I don't agree with
I'm
that.
saying
So
black
we just gonna
people,
agree to
my
this.
people.
We gonna agree to
I
disagree
agree to
it.
disagree.
when it come to that. So move on then. Let's move on to something else.
can I
Thank you,
add
my
to the
man.
conversation?
I make clarification real quick. I'm sorry because somebody referenced Crystal's children, and so I asked Crystal because Crystal somebody asked her earlier what race were her children, and she said white, and so I asked her were her children white or were they mixed. She is married to a man outside of her race, and I assume that she
Renee
had
Radley.
children. I assume that she had children prior to being married.
Oh, okay. I
So I
And
just
you
wanted to
that's why I
still
said
clarify.
I know.
Italian.
It's not that her children
Yep.
are identifying as white because she taught them that they're simply identifying as the race that they are.
Yeah,
They
I
are.
misunderstood that.
Yeah,
I
so I
did
just
say
wanted to
I
make
think
that
though.
clarification
Thank you, Queen.
because
Thank you
people
for
ain't
No, I
that.
did
listening.
say I think
Thank
at the
you for
end of
that.
the statement though. So I mean, I didn't make a definite
Yeah,
statement.
No,
I
we
mean,
just
if the
wanted to
wanted to
clear that
replays
up.
clarify.
are on though,
It's
so you
cool.
could
I
take a
wanted to
look and
Thank
see
you,
I
clarify,
man.
It
said that.
wasn't that serious.
and it's fine.
It
But
was just
but I made it that
clarification.
serious by clarifying. Thank you.
Thank
I
you,
He
never
talk,
Queen.
said 100% this is fact.
Justice,
I just said
that
I
wasn't
think.
Justice. That wasn't even to you. That was to Ocean since he had
Oh, okay.
something to say.
it
Mm.
was I
Because I wasn't talking to I wasn't talking to Ocean. I was referring your statement because you said you think. So I
man,
just
you
wanted to
gotta.
make it
Hey,
clear
where you
in
get your
case
cake
someone
made at, fam?
was confused.
Where you get your
Excuse me?
crystal cake made at? I didn't give me
Okay.
one.
Whatever. You're ignorant.
Not even a little
She don't
bit.
need a crystal cake, Ocean.
Absolutely.
If you got something to say, say
That's
it.
Hey, do me a
disrespectful.
favor, y'all. Don't bring him up. I don't even put him
I
on
got
stage. Don't even
time
bring
if
him
you
here.
want to do
Don't
it,
bring him
sir.
up.
Yeah, I mean, if y'all gonna drop,
Can I speak
Ocean,
on the
I'll
topic
drop down
real
with him.
quick?
You're in the Matrix.
I'm gonna be brief. I want to thank the moderators for bringing me up. Um, I agree with everybody. I think we need to realize as people, you can disagree about something and have different point of views, but both of you can still be right at the same time. You know what I'm saying? No one has to be right or wrong. Is basically, especially how they feel about their lives or their choices personally. Just like I, you got black people that ain't on your team. We know that. There's a lot of self-hating black folk, and there's a lot of racist white people. Just because you're Christian, or just because you go to church, don't mean you're Christian, and just because you're in prison, don't mean you're a criminal. Uh, then there are just honest people, people who are just honest and good people. I do think it is very beautiful to love yourself, love the way you look, and want your children to look like you as well. I think that's a great thing. Um, but if you marry outside of your race, or you deal with people outside of your race, I think that you should deal with someone who loves other races as well. You know what I'm saying? Loves other groups of people. I think the race conversation is diminishing to humanity because I think that's a level that they try to keep us long on, and it's a very surface level. We've been talking about this for years and a millennial. You know what I'm saying? For a long time, and we'll probably continue to talk about it, but we need to move forward as humanity. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like there's no way that I think it's beautiful that, like I said, other races. It's beautiful that you want to marry someone that looks like you, but there's nothing wrong with somebody who wants to be with somebody, a good person, an honest person who loves other people. That's outside of their race.
Yes.
Ain't shit wrong with that. We just human. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no love has no color.
Sometimes love doesn't have a sexuality. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying? You love who you love. That shit is coherent, bro. It
Thank
is
you.
different. I think somebody was speaking on the stage. They were going to the worst points of interracial marriage, which was saying you're loving somebody that hates you, that will probably grow to hate their children. You know what I'm saying? That's not love. You know what I'm saying? You don't date interracially just to put down your race. That's not what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? I think it's very minuscule that we continue to talk about shit like this sometimes when we could be moving forward. Because let people love who they
That,
gonna love. Just because
that
you marry outside of your race, don't mean you divested from your race.
yes.
That's not divesting. I can only say that because I would rather date black and I love dating black. But the man who raised me was a Mexican man. He didn't have he had the choice not to have nothing to do with me, but decided to raise me as his son. You know what I'm saying? That's what love is. That is love without condition. You know what I'm saying? So the race thing, like we gotta, it is a thing, but be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like don't go to the worst levels of it. You know what I'm saying? Especially in these types of conversations, we talking about who we love and who we decide to be with.
Can I just say something? I think when it comes to the race thing, uh, people from other places outside the South wouldn't necessarily. They're gonna have a different perception of it. So I feel like going forward, if you want to talk about racism and all that shit, talk about it with somebody that could perceive it the same way you perceive it, because uh, that's where the misunderstanding come in at.
Hmm.
I'm from the South. Not you. And I should have clarified that I wasn't just directing it to you. I'm just speaking, in general. It's like I'm gonna see it different than somebody from New York. Somebody from New York gonna see it different than somebody from the West, and it just causes a lot of confusion. It's no solution. It's actually stupid. You know what I mean? So I think that's one solution how to, end that conversation right there.
Yeah, I think
You
we
know,
speak like this because I think all of us are, as black people, we're at a level of consciousness about ourselves, and we love ourselves as well. Your first level of consciousness probably was learning about yourself, learning about your hair, your skin, how you connect with the earth. And then you started to know that, yeah, you are different. And you wanna be with somebody who looks like you. You want to share that and you want to create a family or children that look like you, that share those magical powers, you know. But that same level, that race thing, that was a block for me too. Because all I thought about in my consciousness was race. It was racism. You know what I'm saying? So once you get over that level of race, that's just the surface of it. You know what I'm saying? And it really doesn't mean nothing because it is a distraction as well. Now, it is important that we got to know to love ourselves within our consciousness. You know what I'm saying? But if we talking about a fight, and if we want to be free as black people, we can't do it by ourselves. We need comrades. We need white people. We need Asian sometimes. Like, let's be real. Like, you have to be very, it's a meticulous thing too to think about outside of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, every person that spoke was right. I agree with everything. You know what I'm saying? But we need to bring that into one whole thing. Because everyone is right. But just because you marry outside of your race does not mean you're divested. In reality, we have the most dominant DNA on this earth. So any child that we have is black. If we talk about marrying a white person, they have a recessive DNA, the most recessive DNA. You know. Also, uh, a race of people who has an expiration date. I hate to say that, but they have to marry within each other. Segregation was for a reason because they knew that if 100 years pass and we continue to multiply with other groups of people, they may not exist. A white race, a recessive gene. You know what I'm saying? So really, it's a good thing that we're marrying inside and outside of our races. And while we're doing that, we continue to love each other and love our children. Because if we don't, then if we talk about black rights and how we move forward, it'll be a bunch of confusion. Because you start to delineate who's black and who's not, who deserves what and who deserves. You know what I'm saying?
Could I could I say something real quick?
Yes,
What up,
brother.
bro?
Yes.
What's up? Go ahead,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. I'm a product of a mixed relationship, and I've been I've been I've been in the scenario. I'm too white to be black, too black to be white, and it forced me. It forces you to either fight or flight. So I identify as being black, and and both my brothers identify as being black. But what I wanted to bring up was, and I thank you for letting me up on the stage. It's an honor to meet all y'all. Uh, my problem is that I have is we we as a culture, we hold so hard onto the past that we're not grasping the future, and the future is our children. If we can't rally around our children, and we can't come together for our children, our culture is in danger. And it's not we're not in danger from anybody else but ourselves. So what I want what I was proposing is maybe we could get away from this race talk and what they did to us in the past, and holding on to all that stuff, and let's start galvanizing some protections around our children, getting our kids back to school, getting some of these father figures back in the home, doing stuff that will build communities instead of worrying about what they did to us in the past. Why don't we focus on our kids' future, and let's start there, and let's grow from there, and then we could table talk the useless conversations of what something was written in 1638, and all this stuff, and I could pick up my kids in safety. I could go to school, go have them go to school in safety, and they can learn to love all everybody and judge everybody according to the content of the character.
Hmm. And it is character, but race is a big part of that character that you know what I'm saying? Because when we do see white people, when we get around them, we have to measure that shit. Just like when we get around each other too. The only good white person to me is not a white person who knows my fight and respects me for it and knows my plight. I respect the white person who knows what they've done and they try to educate people who look like them. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I know you fuck with me. Like I don't want you in spaces talking to me about my shit. I know what we do and I know the struggles that we go through. I would rather you stand up to people who look like you. That's when you know you met a good white person or a non-black person, whatever, what have you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. uh, my biggest thing is we focused on our past so much that we forgot there's a future, and our kids are the ones at jeopardy. So I don't care about what was done to me. You beat on me, you can put me, do whatever you want to me, but leave my children alone. And the fact of the matter is we have we have put an emphasis on something that has held us back for years. For years it's held us back, and we're actually doing the job of the enemy for. And I'm talking about the enemy as being division. I'm talking about the enemy being uh confusion and self hate. We've given look, whatever we speak into is going to grow. So if we want to sit here and identify the problems for the next 70 years, we can grow the problems to be as big as we want them to be. But if we want to start working on solutions, then let's start speaking of that. What can we do to make it so our kids can have a better future? Because right now, if you look at the outlay of this country, that's not guaranteed right now. And nobody's going to fight for your children harder than you. So I'm just going to land there. Thank you. I appreciate it and honor all y'all.
Salute to you, man. Thank you, bro.
That's cool and all, but I mean, to say that we should just the notion of just moving on, and well, it happened as long ago and all of that. Okay, that's cool. When those things, those that don't know the past are destined to repeat it. So all that about the kids and all of that is all great, but if they don't know where something came from, if they don't know what that was, and a lot of us, even you and I, don't know, right? I know all about the Holocaust though, not comparing one to the other, but because that happened more in a more recent time frame, then you know they won't let you forget that. There's museums around the damn world about that. You get taught certain things. Why is that? Well, I mean, yeah, we could be doing this, we could be doing that. I'm just saying, in the nature of this conversation, when it's dating outside your race and all that, hey, whatever. If that's what you want to do, it is what it is. But I think we can't be ignorant or blind to say that this country is operating on you know one particular system or the next. We don't even get along with ourselves, let alone you know reaching out. So if you're talking about being a person that is dating outside your race, if that's the person, the man or woman that you love, and that's all of that, that's cool. It's just sometimes what happens is you start abandoning where you came from. If you know where you came from, as far as your family and your culture, that is what bothers me. So if you're black and you're quote unquote acting white, or you don't have any connection whatsoever, or if you're white and you're around these certain types of people, there's no connection. You're just trying to be something. You're trying to emulate something that's already in existence. I have more problem with that than anything else. But hey, you find somebody and you're in love with that person and all that stuff, then so be it. But I think it sounds cool to say that it'll be this wonderful place and all that. America ain't never been wonderful for black people. Pick a year, don't matter when it was. You know what I mean? Regardless of who was president, regardless of who wasn't president, you know, it doesn't matter. We've always had the short end of the stick. And that's just how that goes. Now, if we're trying to fight against that, well, that starts within ourselves. To me, if we can come together as a people, which we are not, then that starts that process. So if it's trying to assimilate to be like somebody else, then that will never happen. So I'll stop there.
What's acting black and acting white?
Exactly. What
And
what is that?
why
I'm sorry.
why don't we act why can't we act other races? Why is it always just acting black or acting white? I don't know what that
No, but I
means.
define it for you. So the um if you were to see someone that is white and this guy is rocking the do rag, which it's a device that's designed for black hair, right? You would agree with that. I'm sure you would. If you are talking in a certain what?
Oh, I said a
Oh, go ahead, land your plane, bro.
All right, certain dialect, certain whatever have you not, it is associated with our race and with our culture. That's what it is when it comes to acting black. That's what that means to me. You may not agree, but that's what I think.
I think
got
that's
culture,
highly
and
irresponsible to say things like that, bro.
All right, break it down to me, brother, and why that is.
can
Go
go
ahead,
ahead, Roy.
nah, Tanika, go ahead,
I was
sweetheart.
gonna say culture and race are two different things. I'm from the South, born and raised in the South. I don't necessarily have the Southern accent. So it's either going to be a cultural thing, and cultural doesn't always mean, doesn't always go with your race. Part of my culture is military because I'm a military brat. But to say that someone is acting black or acting white, that itself can be deemed as racist because we never say somebody is acting Mexican. We never say someone is acting Chinese or acting Vietnamese. It's always acting black and acting white. And I don't get why we even use that terminology.
Yep,
Me
I,
either.
I,
that's a
'Cause,
I
fact.
can,
like,
I can, I can understand that,
that's
but
a
that's
That's a
fact.
also
fact.
from your perspective and what you've been through. You've never heard somebody talk and say those types of terms. So when you say that and say, we never say this, or I don't never heard that, 100%. So if I were to say, well, you don't know the culture of the military because you were in the military. Being a military brat doesn't make you in the military. So they live in that lifestyle. You don't know what it's like.
Right. And I think you
There's a
misheard
difference
me because what
between
you just
being able
I think
in
you I
something
think
and
you
observing
but
conflating. I
something.
think you're
Russ,
conflating at this point,
you
bro,
misheard what I
because
said.
like those two doesn't correlate to the other
But
point.
that
Like
wasn't what she asked,
we
though.
still
Let her respond. She was
But
about to go
but
ahead.
I think you misheard me.
Yeah.
I never said I never heard anybody say acting black. I simply asked what does it mean because I don't use the term. I didn't say I never heard anybody use it. I asked why is it used? And why is it only for acting black and acting white? Why is that? Why can't we act Mexican? Why can't we act Chinese, Vietnamese? It's so many other races that we can use other than quote unquote black and acting white. Sometimes we got to acknowledge the fact that we're adding to the racism that bothers us. That's
Yeah.
racist all day. If I tell somebody that appears white, because we simply go by what we think a person is, we make an assumption, and the first three letters of the word assumption are okay. We make an assumption based off what a person looks like. Okay, you got a better tan, so I'm going to assume that you're black. I'm not going to assume that you're mixed because you're of a darker skin tone. If I see someone that's a lighter complexion, I'm going to assume that they're white. I'm not going to assume that they're black and white. We make assumptions, and sometimes we make a fool out of ourselves with all of this extra stuff. We got to
I,
acknowledge it and we got to put a halt to it. If we don't stop it, we can't expect other races to stop doing stuff that we are doing ourselves.
I understand what you're saying, Tanika. What I was responding to is when you said acting Mexican or act you're making a statement based upon something that you don't know. People are they do say that if you're around those brackets of people constantly, considerably, then you don't know. But if you're saying that, well, amongst the people that you may be around, I never really hear that term, acting Asian, and so on and so forth. That would have to be for a person that is Asian. This is, well, you know what? Actually, I do hear it kind of, quite often. So from that perspective, is that. So when it comes to those different things, and what you're saying is like, I mean, I hear you 100%. But if I look at a person, it's not just their skin complexion; it's also their features. There are certain features that certain people have and don't have. And that's just how it is. So it's not just, oh, this person is dark complected, so they have to be black. Or this person over here, if you look at in albino and say, oh, well, this person's got to be white, because it's just not that. There's other factors that go into that, not just that. It's a
Like
combination of things.
like what?
You can look at, bone structure, the fullness of the lips, the roundness of a nose. I mean, come on now, the texture of hair. Come on.
I simply add, and I'm asking this not out of ignorance, okay? I don't want anyone to be mistaken because I'm far from that. But I'm asking because we can say bone structure. I can't see bone structure. I can't see your bones. I can see the skin that's on your bones. But my thing is we can't even go with that because if we solely just talk about black people and white people, you have white people that are shaped just like black women are. So we can't even say, oh, the bone structure, because if we put them in the dark and just show you the silhouette, you won't necessarily know whether that's a white person or a black person. If we're solely going by bone structure, and I'm talking about nowadays. Now, maybe in the past you could, because maybe there was a difference, but nowadays you can't always tell what someone is based off how their body is built.
I was
I would
referring to the
say
facial
this. I
features,
would say
not
this.
not
Like I
not
can
not the
only
body.
act like
Well,
me.
you said
I can only act like me, bro. I can only act like me as a person. Can I be influenced by something? Yes, but I can only act like Jaquel Devon Thomas at the end of the day, bro. I can't act white. I can't act black.
Okay.
I can't act no other way besides being me. But can I be influenced? Yes. And I think that's maybe the message that she was trying to convey. Because I can't act like nobody but
I,
me.
I got that, but loosely as a term that is used, and that's very well said. The majority of things that we all know, isn't something that just was just natural. You just didn't just know it. Either where you grew up, who you were around, what you know has largely to do with somebody telling you what you needed to know, what you were taught. All those things line up. So the person of who you are and all of that it's very, very strong when it goes into what part of the country. If you were born here in America, and where you from, the south, east, west, midwest, wherever you geographically are located at, maybe you have an accent, maybe you don't, maybe there's all sorts of things that go into the makeup of you. And sometimes we feel like, well, I had some control over this. Maybe you did, but probably not. So if you were taught a certain type of way about something, may be that may not be how everybody else thinks. So then it becomes like your generalizations, which I do hate saying this, but your stereotypes and all of that. Stereotypes are based in something. So if it's the quote unquote white people can't dance, they don't even have any rhythm. Not all white people walking around can't dance, but a lot of white folks don't have rhythm. It is what it is. So it's not saying that it is, and I hate saying that, but from a broad scope, all the things don't apply to every single person, but a lot of those things that they do. Just because that you speak well or whatever, even some of the words and the words of how we say some of the words that we say, how we pronounce them and say them in a certain way. It's just not all people, but a lot of times you can hear it. Just even on the phone. Not always, but you can hear a person like this person right here sounds, based on the wording that they're using, African American, or this person here sounds, by the words they're using, Caucasian. I could be completely wrong, but they sound like it. That's what I mean when I say that.
Real quick, I just want to do a quick reset on the room. We have some new people that have come in, so we want to say thank you for coming in. To any of you that are down at the bottom, if you want to come up and speak, just raise your hand. We'll bring you up. If you're not already following the club, if you go to the top, click on the greenhouse, join Straight No Chaser, you'll get notifications when we do rooms. We have, I forgot, so continue on.
Follow the mods, follow each other, follow the club at the top. You know what I'm saying? If you want to come up stage, raise your hand. You know what I'm saying? Don't be shy, just be respectful.
Thank you, Royal. I had something that I was going to say and forgot.
Oh, please, please do tell.
No,
Um,
you're good.
in in all due respect to the opposition, in my personal experience, I've had, I mean, a multitude of encounters with the opposition, and I found that in corporate business, I ran a lot of IT work with USA Today, Gannett News, CBS, and American Management Systems, various places. I found you won't be able to, as a rep, we the people, you will not be able to please the opposition. And no matter what you do, you can jump through hoops of fire, and they'll say you have to jump 5 more hoops. If you jump high, 10 foot high, they say we have raised the bar to 15 feet. We cannot appease, APPESE. You cannot appease the opposition, attempting to please them, attempting to say what they might say, as attempting to think through their mind structure or through their thinking apparatus to determine our conduct and how we should behave, what we should say, what we should do, because he has an inexhaustible thirst, an unquenchable thirst for uh, just be a terrorist on we the people. Have done executions, massacres, um, police and police brutality, injustice, block and play a sophisticated game of Monopoly and Jeopardy, and they move to block every time we attempt, or we the people make a certain move. We will be scrutinized, criticized, and someone from we the people will always jump up, attempting to appease Mr. White and his network. It may happen. There's a great chance that it may happen, but I truly believe in my soul, in my heart and soul, there's a greater chance that it won't. And I'll land right here at Banneker Field, because I'm in Washington D.C., of course, and we try to take that name Reagan off the airport and put Banneker on the whole enchilada as we land right here. Thank you for allowing me to share just a few words with straight and no chaser.
Okay. I appreciate, what you're saying. Well, when we say the opposition, I'm assuming you're referring to white people, Caucasians.
Yeah, I'm
Is
specifically
it
referring to the white man and his woman, the she devil.
okay? So, you know, I said, like this. Um, Either you all the way, against all of that, or you on board. It's like it's all good when this is something that's beneficial to whomever, if to you. To be quite honest, the fact that you even sitting here talking on this phone is there's white people that was involved in that. The folks that are the devils and all of that. You do know that, right? So we didn't free ourselves if you didn't know. That something that didn't occur without having white people being involved. You see what I'm saying? So with that being as plain as that, then I can't say that all white people are evil. Yes, there are some that were, absolutely. But I can't go across the board and say everybody that's white is this. You would never, you gonna lie to me in my face, because in that was the case, we still be in shackles right now. Civil War, man. How did that even come to be? Well, look at different things in history and how things happen. So, you know, I think that some people are evil and some people are bad, and that is 100% true. But I can't say everybody that is Caucasian or white is evil. And I'll stop there.
In
No,
the divine intervention, um, I think when your spirituality, your social orientation, your cultural base, if you're not a Mediterranean, then certainly you will know divine intervention when you see it. Just recognize it because you'll see it again.
Right, but that's not really responding to what I said that took us out of shackles. Are you saying that was divine
I'm
intervention?
saying to you, there's a man named Crispus Attucks who died at the Boston Massacre, and he was working to abolish all forms of our enslavement. And some say his gun jammed, and the bloody Brits massacred him. Others say he was set up with the gun. And I say to you that I just don't see where the opposition has worked in our favor. Now, maybe the Kennedys, but they executed them. I say maybe Abraham Lincoln, but they executed him. But look at the successor. There was a Johnson syndrome behind Abraham Lincoln, and Andrew Johnson is to Abraham Lincoln what Lyndon Baines Johnson is to John Fitzgerald Kennedy and Robert Francis Kennedy. So we have to look at these things. If anyone attempted to lend us a helping hand up, they immediately executed them or snuffed them out, vilified them, made them the villain, and wiped them out along with us.
Well, I mean, listen, I respect your point of view on that. I still can't go with full tilt on that, because although the few people that you did name, there's other people as well. And if we're telling the story the way that it is, or the way that it happened, and I know things can be changed in history, I got all that, but the legislative part section of that wasn't just two people. Well, now I want to say Kennedy, that was later on. But if you go with Abraham Lincoln and all those that were around him, we didn't go back to the fields. We didn't get shackled again. So why is that? What was it that happened that prevented that from happening? There are everybody didn't all white folks didn't agree with slavery, man. You know what I mean? It may seem cool to say it like that, but that's not how it went. There were those that were completely against it, completely, and said that it was wrong, and as it was. So I can't say everybody's in the same boat just because you happen to be white. That's
I
what I think.
faithfully submit to you, there's a man by the name of Andrew Johnson in history. I faithfully submit there's a man named Jeffrey Elmhurst. And if we study those two very carefully, we'll see the manifestation of Andrew Johnson, who was the president of the United States that was suppressed. They did an entire documentary on Abraham Lincoln and left out all the chapters concerning Andrew Johnson, who vetoed nearly the entire Emancipation Proclamation. And I faithfully submit to you that Andrew Johnson was called Sir Veto because of his posture. And I would faithfully submit to you that Donald the Duck Trump, I sometimes call him 45.5. If you look at the top of your screen, you see the button to leave quietly, and certainly he did not leave quietly. So he earned the handle from We the People as 45.5. But Merrick Garland is a nightmare to a guy that would overstay his welcome, who would outstretch his reach, undo his own flexibility, and then to go into a public embarrassment to take certain documents from some call the White House, I call the White Supremacy House, and then have documents that could potentially be nuclear weapons changer. And when you see these monkeypox, when you see COVID-18, COVID-19, pandemic 19, 20, 21, and 22, 23 will be a nightmare to we the people. But nevertheless, these are ex-CIA agents, and some of them are KGBs and other forms of intelligence. There's nothing more of a nightmare and a scare to we the people than a renegade CIA agent, a renegade KGB who's been given the rights and given business opportunity in front of you and me. The Vietnamese, the Chinese, the Japanese, the European Asian, the Eurasian has better chance of doing business here than you and I. 46.2, which I label, some call him Joe Biden, some call him Joe Biden. I call him 46.2 because when you name your son Hunter, then certainly he's some form of a killer. And I will favor submit that he put in legislation to protect the lives of the Asian people. And I mean, there's practically nothing wrong with that. Only when it's we the people, when in the person of Jesse James, what you call him, James Clyburn, who took all of our votes over there and gave them to a person who has no uh, regard, no rights that we have, that he feels duty bound to protect. And he has put no legislation up for you. So I would just faithfully submit that we, the people, must go to self government. And that's why I am Sheikh Ali Mam Akbar, asking for the state of South Carolina to govern ourselves. Likewise, it's, the Mormons of Utah went on to govern themselves successfully. The gamblers of Nevada and the Italian mafia went on to take the state of Nevada to do whatever their just dues. And I'm telling you, there's not a rat that pissed on a cotton ball in Utah that the Mormon Church, the LDS, checks it and uh, and checkmate it if necessary. And there's not a set of dice that rolls through Nevada, Reno, or Las Vegas that the mafia doesn't count that money in full and tell you how the taxes
Well,
going to go in the middle. So self-government, again, as I land my plane on that fact, we are propelled into self-government, and South Carolina is a perfect state to run that
okay.
government.
Well,
Thank you for allowing me to share this with you.
thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Let me do a quick reset. If you're not familiar, you in straight no chase in this motherfucker. Make sure y'all follow the club, follow the moderators, follow each other. Speak your speech, just be respectful. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can speak y'all shit. Nobody gonna interrupt you. We gonna let you land your plane. Just be respectful to other people's opinions, and it's all love at the end of the day. And with that, y'all go on do what y'all gotta do. I think the sister Jezebel has something to say. Would you like to speak?
Yes. Hey everybody. So before I speak, I did want to let everybody know that I stutter, and I let people know that because oftentimes
they think I'm nervous, or I don't
Nah,
know what I want to say.
you good. You in
I
straight
stutter
no
too,
chase. Nah,
Jezebel.
you
I
in
stutter
straight
too.
no chaser, man.
Oh,
Take your
Right.
time. We
okay.
ain't
I
tripping.
said it for the first half of my life. So please
I
continue.
stutter. You all
Oh,
good?
okay. Okay, cool. Thank you guys. So I am a black woman. Um, both of my parents are black, and so I am in an interracial relationship. Um, he's a white man, and I guess I was looking at your title, and it said that like, or it asked a question, right? So I wanted to know first, what do you all consider weak-minded? Because when I think of myself, I don't think of myself as a weak-minded person at all. I think that I have opinions. I'm pretty opinionated. I'm not like a yes woman. So yeah. So what's your definition of weak-minded?
E- Easily influenced, gullible. You know, weak minded.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I personally don't think that if you date outside of your race, that automatically qualifies you as weak-minded. Um, like my mom is a strong woman, and I saw that growing up, and I think I took on a lot of her traits. So like for me, yeah, I'm definitely not weak-minded. Now I will say at times I could be meek because like I work in a profession to where, and so I'm a speech therapist. And so I work in a profession where like, I have to be professional, I have to smile and like I have to kiki with people. So like, yeah, I'm definitely meek. And if somebody like does something to me at work or whatever, like I'm not gonna act out or anything, but and I might let it slide. But I don't necessarily consider that weak minded. Yeah, but
Well, to answer your question, I think the only way that I would consider somebody that's weak-minded in terms of being in an interracial relationship is if you just down your own people. That's the only way I would consider you weak-minded. That's it.
Mm, oh, okay, down in my own people. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say. I mean, cause like I come from a family of 12, right? So like I have 7 brothers, and all of them are black, and so